In the beginning, the baby was born. God chose Mary to be the mother of God, and the Word was born a wordless child. When he looked up into the faces of the mother Mary and their father Joseph, the cross was already there. They held him close and kept him warm and gave him everything he needed, and he began to grow. When he was about 12 years old, he went with the mother Mary and the father Joseph to the great city of Jerusalem. There they kept one of the high holy days. When the celebration was done, as they were returning home on the road to Nazareth, Mary and Joseph suddenly realized that Jesus was missing. They went back to the great city of Jerusalem to find him. They searched everywhere for 3 days and 3 nights. Finally, they even looked in the temple, and there he was, talking with the priests of the temple. When he spoke, they listened, because he knew so much. When they spoke, he listened, because he wanted to learn more. Mary and Joseph asked Jesus the question all parents ask their children: "Why did you do this?" He responded and said something very strange. "Didn't you know I would be in my Father's house?" Mary and Joseph were confused. They did not understand. Their home was in Nazareth, where Joseph's carpenter shop was. They did not understand, but they did not forget. When Jesus was about 30 years old, he went to the river Jordan, where his cousin John was baptizing people. He waded into the water and said, "Baptize me." John looked at Jesus as if for the first time. Now he saw who he really was. He said, "How can I baptize you? You are the Messiah, the one we have been waiting for. You must baptize me." Jesus said, "No, it is written that you will come before me and prepare the way. You must baptize me." John lowered Jesus into the darkness and chaos of the water, and then brought him back into the light. People there said that they saw a dove come down from heaven and come close to Jesus. Others heard a voice. It said, "This is my beloved Son, with whom I am well pleased." When Jesus had been baptized, he crossed over the river Jordan and went into the desert. Jesus stayed in the desert for 40 days and 40 nights. There, he learned more about who he was and what his work was going to be. There was very little to eat or drink in the desert. One day a voice came. It said, "Why don't you turn that rock over there into bread and have something to eat?" Jesus said, "In order to be a real human, you must eat more than just bread." Then it was as if he were on top of the great temple in Jerusalem. The voice came back. "If you are truly the Son of God, why don't you jump and see if God sends the angels to catch you before you hit the stones below?" Jesus said, "No, we do not need to test God." Then the voice said, "If you follow me, I will make you king of all the kingdoms of the earth." Jesus said, "No, I am to be a king, but not that kind of king." Then the voice went away. Jesus left the desert and crossed back across the river Jordan. crossed the River Jordan to do his work. But what was his work? His work was to come close to people, especially those people that no one wanted to come close to. See, he has come so close to this blind man that he is even touching his eyes. When Jesus came close to people, they changed. They could see things they had never seen before. They could do things they had never done before. They became well. Jesus also told parables. Finally, he knew that he had to become a parable. So he went to Jerusalem for the last time. When Jesus went to Jerusalem, the people there thought he was coming to be a king. But they weren't paying attention. He did not come in on a great horse like a king. He was not being carried by soldiers. Jesus came into Jerusalem on a donkey, and it didn't even belong to him. He had to borrow it. Still, on that Sunday, the people waved palm branches as he came. Palm branches were a sign for kings. On Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, Jesus went into the great temple to teach. In the evenings, he went with the 12 to the Mount of Olives. The people watched and whispered. They wondered. They thought that the Mount of Olives was where an army of angels would come down to chase out the Roman soldiers. The guards of the temple said, "On Thursday we will take Jesus." But on Thursday, they could not find him. That evening, Jesus and the 12 hurried through the dark streets of Jerusalem and went into a house. They climbed the stairs to an upper room where they enjoyed their Last Supper together. After they had had everything they wanted to eat, Jesus took a loaf of bread and he gave thanks to God for it and broke it. He said, "Every time you break a loaf of bread and share it, I will be with you." Then he took a cup of wine and gave thanks to it. He said, "Every time you share a cup of wine, I will be with you." But what did he mean? He was always saying things like that. How could they know what he meant? The 12 did not understand, and later they would know what he meant. Suddenly, Judas, one of the 12, got up from the table and left. The rest sang a hymn together and then went to the Garden of Gethsemane on the Mount of Olives. Jesus wanted to pray. When he had finished, he joined the others, but Judas came out of the dark and greeted him with a kiss on the cheek. That was the sign for the guards of the temple to take Jesus. They came out of the shadows and took him away into the night. The rest, all of the 12, disappeared into the darkness as well. Now, I wonder, what in this room, or what in your room, might help us tell the story better? How can we tell the story more? If you look around the room, what objects in the room can you place beside the pictures to help us tell the story more? I wonder what your work will be today.